So we're in the bomb shelter just because we did get a rocket from Yemen. To all those who think, oh, let's just do a ceasefire and sit around and sing kumbaya. Well, not that simple. So that good acoustic, this is an AA bomb shelter. That means the AAA, how many A's is it? Alcoholic Anonymous uses this bomb shelter for meetings, and it's really important. And I think everybody should follow the 12 steps. We are powerless over whatever happens in life, and we have to come to believe that a power greater than ourselves can restore us to sanity. And we can make a decision and turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understand Him or her. And everybody can make a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. And we can admit to God or ourselves, to another human being, the exact nature of our wrongs. We're entirely ready to have God remove all those defects of characters. Humbly ask Him to remove our shortcomings. Make a list of all the persons we have harmed and become willing to make amends to them all. Make direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. Continue to take personal inventory, and when we are wrong, promptly admit it. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him or her, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. Having that spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, we try to carry this message to alcoholics, but to anybody actually, and to practice these principles in our affairs. So I think, show the dog, I think it's wonderful that people want to improve themselves. I think it's wonderful that we admit that we are actually powerless. As a person under rocket attacks, I mean, when was this? Thursday night was the last one that came home. Don't feel great walking around knowing that any minute a siren can come, that a rocket is above us. I am glad we have a great army, a strong army. And when I look at the world, how it's so much against the people of Israel, I really wonder, it's not just the people of Israel. We have like 20% or more Muslims. And like I was just talking to a Muslim gardener I know here, that I always talk to him, how are things in your village? Fine. Their village was hit today also. And yes, we have, thank God, we have a system that prevents the rockets from causing us damages. But you know what? It's not, life is unfair and people make their choices. I sound like Kamala Harris, but really, I mean, you decide what to invest in. So Israel decided to invest in a rocket, in a system that protects the civilians, while the people in Lebanon decided to let the Hezbollah store their rockets in their homes. They decided to let terrorists take over their country and turn it into a really horrible country. Lebanon used to be the Switzerland of the Middle East, no longer so. The Christians have been driven out. A lot of Christians are refugees all over the world, Christians from Lebanon. And I think it's, let me tell you, I have a bone to pick with the Pope. I see every time it's Twitter, let us pray for the people of Lebanon. What about the people of Nazareth? Yeah, actually, most of them are not Jewish, and they're constantly under rocket attack. They have to go to work under rocket attack. I've spoken to somebody from there, 2 people in fact, who work here in the center of Israel, and they're always under rocket attack. Where's the Pope feeling sorry for the people that live in the very places that Jesus lived? Where is the Christians? I mean, there are wonderful Christians that care about Israel and love Israel, but where are the Christians that don't? What is wrong with you guys? I mean, the UN, most of the countries of the world are supposedly Christians, and yet they denounce Israel for trying to protect ourselves. That is anti-Semitism, and that's anti-Christian, because the Christianity started here. Jesus started the religion, and yet the UN, they don't care. They just don't care about Israeli people. And a ceasefire means we are If we stop fighting, the rockets are going to come here like rain, and we won't be able to live. So the only way we are able to survive is when our army is constantly bombarding these terrorists. And when the Pope expresses sympathy for the terrorists, what about the people of Israel? Why is there so much hate towards the people of Israel? That's what I want to understand. Why are we so hated? When we didn't have an army, we were hated. When we have an army, we're hated. Damn if we do, and damn if we don't. So, as a very typical Israeli, I think, I'm a nonconformist. I don't think I need to please people. I need to survive. And if my survival means bombing the hell out of terrorists, then it's going to be that way. Then it's going to be the way I'm surviving. Yes, I don't like any form of violence, but excuse me, if somebody's throwing rockets on me, I'm going to be damn sure happy that my army is strong enough to bombard the rocket launching pads, and it's not my fault that the people of Lebanon chose to let these terrorists in. Lebanon is a tragic story of people who let the terrorists in, so is Gaza. They're very, they make very knee-jerk decisions. They think of the short term. Oh, we're going to have these people take care of us. But they don't think of the fact that these people are terrorists that are not interested in anything but killing other people, including their own people. They could have dug terror, look at this bomb shelter. How come there's no bomb shelters in Lebanon? How come Switzerland has bomb shelters? Did you know that Switzerland has bomb shelters against nuclear war? Every building in Switzerland has a bomb shelter. And they're not even in a direct nuclear war threat at the moment. And yet they are thinking about it. When they build a building, they build a bomb shelter. Not every building in this area has a bomb shelter, by the way, but a lot do. I'm fortunate to have one as well. And I don't know if I would have lived in a building that doesn't have a bomb shelter. This is a community bomb shelter used by the AA, as I said. They took care of it. And I'm sitting here whenever I feel overwhelmed and anxious, and I don't want to look at the news and say, rocket attack on Tel Aviv, and run. I want to sit down and relax knowing that I'm safe. And I'm safe at the moment here, right? But, I'm thinking of October 7th. I was waking up, it's almost a year to this anniversary. And when I think that people around the world celebrated the massacre of men, women, children, and babies, I'm just horrified by humanity. I'm not a big fan of humanity because the way that people treat animals, but let me just have a word for Greta, whatever her face is, Thunberg. How dare you? She says, how dare you? How dare you? How dare you support terrorists with rockets? Is that good for the environment? To destroy wildlife? To destroy animals and people? Is that good? Terrorists that hate Jews? If there's anybody that's been good for the environment, it's the Jewish people. Definitely not Muslims who don't give a shit about anything except I don't know what. They treat women badly. The whole tradition is very, very anti-human, anti-animals. How can anyone with liberal views support terrorists? Islamic terror. Where is she? She doesn't want to be in the picture. Greta Thunberg. You're just trendy. And as a person who works with people on the spectrum, you bring shame on people on the spectrum. But sadly, maybe some people on the spectrum, they're very vulnerable and can be easily influenced. I don't know who actually brainwashed her, but you live in a country where Islamic immigrants are destroying your traditions. They don't respect your Christian or whatever pagan traditions. They don't respect environments. Who's giving agriculture advice? Who's developing ways of clean water and solar energy? Is it the Islamic terrorists or Israelis? Because as far as I know, scientific developments are almost completely the result of Israeli thinking in the Middle East and not those of Islamic terrorists. From what I see, the other countries around us, they don't think about how to develop clean water and make it a nice place for everybody. They just think about how to take over lands. 99.9% of the Middle East is Islamic. There's a tiny bit for Christians and Jews, and they even don't want to give it to us. So, what the hell, Greta? How is that good for the environment? You know, this is a big bird migration center. Birds fly from Europe to Africa, and there's rockets harming them. And who throws the rockets? It's the Islamic terrorists that you love so much. So wake up, Greta, and smell the rockets. Smell the rockets and the stink of Islamic terror. And people should call it by its name. It's not like Norwegian terrorists, it's not Martians from outer space, it's extreme Islamic ideology. And when your religion tells you to kill people just because you don't like them and you don't think they deserve to live, it's not a very nice religion. It's definitely not good for the environment. I don't know what's wrong with that woman. I don't know why it's trendy to wear keffiyeh and to pretend as if the Muslims are a minority under the threat of disappearing from the face of the earth. There are more than 20% of world population. Jews are 0.001%. So who is being under the threat of genocide? Yeah? Who exactly? The people that are 0.001% who are responsible for 20% of Nobel Prizes, that are developing vaccinations, that thanks to the Jews there's polio has been eradicated. You know, who's giving polio vaccinations in Gaza? Is it the Islamic terrorists? Who's giving them food? Who's giving them all the things they need if it's not Israel? And then we're being told we're horrible people. What kind of people are being bombarded? Are soldiers dead? And, you know, we had almost 700 soldiers killed in Gaza fighting terrorists. And then we give them humanitarian aid. We give them medical help.